Hey guys, what is going on? In this video, we're talking about the Insta360 camera and how stable it is versus a traditional gimbal. Okay, the Insta360 camera is a 360 camera. So it's basically the size of a GoPro, it's got a camera on either side, and it shoots a 360 image. If you've seen some of the videos that I've done recently, I've been talking about how 360 is kind of changing in the way that these cameras are being used. You can now use a 360 camera in the traditional 16:9 format and do some really cool stuff because you have the freedom to edit your footage in any way you want and point the camera in post. So the Insta360 just got a firmware update and added a function called flow stabilization, which basically gives you buttery, smooth, stable footage. Just from a firmware update, they were able to add a level of stabilization that basically rivals that of a gimbal. What I wanted to do was go out into the wild. By wild, I mean I'm going to go down to the beach just down the street from me, and I'm going to show you the difference between a DJI Osmo Mobile 2, which is a gimbal that I really enjoy using with my phone, and the Insta360 and show you the difference in using a gimbal versus a 360 camera. A couple things as you're watching this footage. First, I'm using a beta version of the firmware and the app. There will be improvements to both, and the image in the full version will look much better in different lighting scenarios. Second, yes, I know the footage looks a little mushy on a computer because the resolution is not as good as a traditional camera. That is one of the downsides with working with 360 cameras, is that the resolution is still not there compared to cameras such as the iPhone or even the GoPro. However, the footage still looks pretty good when it's played back on mobile devices. What I wanted to show you was the stabilization, how 360 has improved, and what kind of functionality that 360 cameras are now giving us. So after looking at that footage, would you ditch a gimbal for a 360 camera? So personally, I think it depends on the situation. The Insta360 gives you the ability to just hold it up in the air, not have to think about your shot when you're in the moment, and then in post, you can reframe and get the smooth movement that you're looking for. Whereas when you're working with a gimbal, you have to be thinking about your shot in the moment. And that's a huge difference, especially when you're doing things that are more adventurous, more active. When I was out climbing a mountain and I had a 360 camera with me, I was able to just hold it up in the air for a few seconds, get the shot I need, put it in my pocket, and not have to think about where the camera was pointing. With a gimbal, you have to think about all that in the moment. So if you mess up the shot and you don't get the footage you need, you might miss a moment or you might miss an opportunity to get something really cool. I think 360 cameras are giving us this ability to have more freedom in post and give us an opportunity to be able to reframe and focus more on just grabbing the footage we need for the story. And at the end of the day, that is the biggest thing that matters. If you're telling a story, you have to make sure you have the footage to be able to tell that story properly. All right, guys, let me show you how you edit this footage from the Insta360. Basically, once you're in the app, you just pull up the clip that you want to edit. You can play the clip in real time and then scrub your fingers left and right, up, down, and find the position that you want to start in. You hold your finger down and it drops a pinpoint on that spot. Move further in the clip, you can drop another pinpoint, and what happens is it will smoothly move between both the points that you've put on the timeline. And this is really cool. So like when I was riding the bike, I just held the camera out behind me and I was able to get an awesome shot and not have to think about what I was getting. I was able to just hold the camera out, and then now I'm able to go through and frame the shot I want, grab the shot of Rachel, go over to the beach, do whatever it is that I want to do in that shot. It gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of creative freedom when you're out filming. And then one other thing I wanted to show you with the Insta360, they have this awesome feature called bullet time effect. Essentially, you could just put the camera on a string, or like on this one, I was using my POV gear pole, and you could just spin the camera around, and what it does is it creates this awesome bullet time effect. because the camera is shooting at 120 frames per second, and when you whip it around, in the software, it knows to frame you up in the center and keep you centered the whole time. Even if the camera is spinning or whipping around, that's the beauty of 360, is that you have this 360 image, and the better that the software gets in these cameras, the more flexibility and the more functionality we're gonna have, because you have the ability to basically shoot 360 and reframe later. All right guys, I hope this little demo was helpful in showing you how a 360 camera compares to a gimbal such as the DJI Osmo. I wanted to show you a side-by-side of how good the stabilization is with the Insta360 One now that they've updated their firmware. Definitely, I think you're gonna be doing different activities that are more adventurous. A 360 camera is a good option to take with you, something add to your arsenal to get you some awesome shots and gives you some more creative freedom when you're in post to be able to make sure you tell the story that you want to tell. All right, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this footage in the description below. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot of awesome filmmaking and photography tutorials on this channel, along with a ton of travel vlogs. My wife and I, we travel, we go all over. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming this year. This summer is gonna be insane. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and jump over to Instagram, find me at Jeven Dovey. And guys, that is it. I will see you on the next one.